All right. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How may I take your order? The second section here in the topic 7 is another bonus, and it's talking about fractions in simplest form. And so you know that a fraction is in simplest form when 1 is the only common factor of the numerator and the denominator. And I'm going to talk about simplest form really quickly. Simplest form is one of those things where you're not wrong if you don't use simplest form, but you're not the most correct you could be. And I like to use an example of going to like the grocery or the butcher, and you walk up to the counter and you're going to order some ground beef for dinner. Right? You're going to make hamburgers, and it's just you're making them for. And so you walk up and you'll say, you know, let me have 3/6 a pound of ground beef. Let me have 5/10 of a pound of ground beef. Right? Those are technically correct fractions. They represent something. But if you had said, let me have half of a pound of ground beef, please, you would have made so much more sense than had you said 3/6 or 5/10. And so simplest form, right, that 1/2, that's what we're looking for in this particular section. So here we go. To write a fraction in simplest form, or lowest terms, we're going to divide by common factors until the only common factor between the numerator and the denominator is 1. And so on the back of your multiples sheet now is a common factors list, and so you can use that to help you simplify. And I'd like you to answer that to yourself. Why is simplest form so important? Think about that example I gave about the grocery store. So here we go. We got steps 1 through 3 and then the shortcut. All right. Take a moment and highlight. All right. In this case, we are going to be simplifying 20 over 24. Okay? Refer to that list of factor sheet again to help you out. Notice that both of these numbers are even. Anytime you see a numerator and a denominator are even, you immediately know you can start with a common factor of 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 2 over 2 we know equals 1 whole. I haven't changed the value. Again, you know that these numbers are still even, 10 over 12. So I divide by 2 over 2 again. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Right? When I look at 5/6, right, the only way to get 5, if you're looking at your factor sheet, is 1 times 5. And 6, we have 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. The only common factor here is 1, and that's how I know 5/6 is simplified. There's a shortcut, right? This is the back roads. Might take you a little while. Definitely going to get there. The shortcut, the highway, is to purposefully divide by the greatest common factor, or the GCF, so that you reduce the fraction in one quick step. So, 20. 24, right? So what I like to do is I'll skip count by things, right? So to get to 20, I could do, not skip counting, excuse me, I misspoke. I could do 1 times 20. I could do 2 times 10. I could do 4 times 5. 24. 1 and 24. 2 and 12. 3 and 8. 4 and 6. The biggest thing they have in common is 4. So if I divide by 4 over 4, I'm going to end up with 20 divided by 4 is 5. 24 divided by 4 is 6. This information is on the factors sheet. Let's try some. All right, we'll do one together. Again, excuse me, only 1 and 3 are in your notes, so I'm going to pick 2 and then 4 to try, and so you can try 1 and 3 in your notes. So here we go, right? 18 and 42. They're both even. I'm going to divide by 2 over 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 42 divided by 2 is 21. If I look at my factor sheet, or maybe I know this, 9 and 21 both are divisible by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And that's a final answer. All right, number 4, 55 and 70. The way that I use my factor sheet is I'll put my left finger on the numerator and my right finger on the denominator. So my left finger is on 55, my right finger is on 70. I find something they have in common. It turns out it's 5. 55 divided by 5 is 11. 70 divided by 5 is 14. Pause the screen and try the next two. On number 3, you'll notice that the greatest common factor is 3. And so 18 divided by 3 is 6, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. On number 1, I immediately went to the greatest common factor of 4. You also could have recognized they're both even. Creates a little bit more work. But again, you end up in the same place. So your next step is to complete the IXL activity with a SMART score of 85. Have a fantastic day.